say Gino. That one? Hello, and welcome to another edition of Western Sports Weekly here on ESPN The Ocho. I'm Zach Cummings. Today we'll be debating on the top sports stories of the week. But first, let's meet our analysts. I'm joined today with Colton Schlichting, Devin Koloj, and Chance Waddell.
Good to be here.
Good to be here, Zach. I'm excited.
Living the dream, man.
Should be a good show.
Awesome. Let's start off today's show in the NHL, where the feel-good story this season is a new expansion team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. The Las Vegas Golden Knights recently just swept the LA Kings to advance to the second round of the playoffs, where they will now take on the San Jose Sharks. Guys, just how legit are the Golden Knights, and how much farther can they take this miraculous season?
In my mind, I think they actually are legit. They really can make a shot at this cup. I still don't know why they're as good as they are, because this team, it's made up of players that weren't wanted by their old team, by like just the definition of an expansion team. And some of their star players like Eric Howla. Minnesota gave Las Vegas a #1 pick to get rid of Howla. That's how little they didn't want him. But things are working out great for them. NHL expansion rules this year, teams where they were allowed to protect less players than they were in older years, so they could, like Las Vegas could get better players. And George McPhee put together a great team and took advantage of that. The rules the NHL put together. We had this legit first line with Marchessault, Carlson, Smith, all of them having at least 20 goals. Then you have Howla with 29, James Neal with 25, David Perron with 50 assists. And everything is coming together for them perfectly. And even Gerard Gallant, their coach, even he was not really that good in the past. He had 1 or 2 good years in Florida and then got fired and been out of coaching for a while, and he's back. So this team, they have kept it together after what seemed like a flash in the pan in October, has kept going. Everything's working out great for them. And this team, too, there's a really surprising amount of playoff experience here. Like Marc-Andre Fleury, he won 3 Stanley Cups with Pittsburgh. He knows how to get it done in net, and he knows how to keep things going. James Neal, he went deep with Nashville last year. David Perron, he's gone deep with St. Louis in the past. Even though this is a new team, there's a good chance that these players on a whole, they'll have more playoff experience than some of these younger teams like Edmonton or Toronto that hasn't really gotten this far before. And the teams that you would think more would be more powerhouses, they're going to have really tough roads. Like the Predators, they'll be worn out from last year's deep run, and now they have to play the Jets. That's a big, tough Western Conference matchup. These two teams will beat each other up, and they're going to be tired and bloody by the time they get to the Western Conference Finals. Pittsburgh, they've won 2 straight cups. They're going to be worn out from 2 straight years of playing into June, and they just had a series with the Flyers. Every time the Penguins and the Flyers play each other, somebody gets hurt. Things are going to go wrong. These players are going to be hurt as well. Washington, they have this history of choking in the playoffs, and now playing against Pittsburgh, again, that's not going to help them really in any way, shape, or form. So they have kind of a perfect road lined up for them. Sweeping LA. LA's not the team they were when they won those 2 cups, but they still have Jonathan Quick. They're still a good team. Now playing San Jose. San Jose is another team that's good, and Little B, he gave them their blessing. That kind of worries me on Twitter a little bit. He on Twitter, but they too aren't really quite the team they were. Patrick Marleau's gone. Joe Thornton is only getting older. So I think really this bracket is lined up perfectly for them to where they can make it out and make it to the final. And also the fact that it's the team of destiny aspect. The whole Vegas strong thing, that is still going in Las Vegas. They are still feeling the impact of that day. A couple weeks ago, Las Vegas retired number 58 for those victims. So this is still like in their minds. They still have something to play for. And we've seen things like that before, like in 2013 with the Boston Red Sox. In 2012, missed the playoffs. 2013, the bombing, win the World Series. 2014, missed the playoffs. Teams that aren't really that good, if they have something to play for, they can keep it going, and they can make deep runs and give their city something to cheer for. And I think that's what we're going to see here.
So yeah, Devin and Colton, do you guys think with the Golden Knights being in Las Vegas, this make a big impact for the team, being in a better-known city?
Well, first of all, Zach, I got to say, I agree with everything Chance just said there. But, they are playing with emotion. They're doing that 2013 Red Sox thing that we've seen before. it makes me feel good. This is a feel-good story. They're an expansion team. They were supposed to be this good. Vegas sportsbooks had them 500 odds, 500 to 1 odds on winning the whole thing. Whoever lucky person took that bet is feeling good about themselves. I feel good about the Golden Knights, just waking up out of bed every morning and be like, they are so good. It's a feel-good story. I want to watch hockey because of this. I want to root for them. But you know what? I'm kind of skeptical about them now.
Really?
First, okay, they swept the LA Kings.
Tell me why.
Okay, I'll tell you why, Zach.
All right.
They swept the Kings. Good job. They haven't played in 2 weeks though. Hockey. You gotta keep going. Who knows what they've been doing? They're in Vegas. They're probably hitting up the casinos. They're doing stuff that they probably wouldn't have been doing all season. I'm still skeptical. They got the Sharks now. Sharks like to eat things and eat people. So they got that on their tails now. And the West, that whole side of the division in the NHL bracket is already stacked. I like the Jets. I like the Predators. I still got Predator fever from last Stanley Cup.
Especially Carrie Underwood over there.
Carrie Underwood, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I still like the Predators. And, I think this Cinderella story will come to an end. I hate to say it, but that's my hunch feeling.
Devin, what's your take on the Las Vegas Golden Knights?
All right. Well, for me, it's really been a while since we've seen a team, burst onto the scenes like this. I remember in baseball when they had the expansion teams, the Marlins and Diamondbacks won one pretty quickly, but it took them a couple of years. This is their first year, and to see them make it this far is really exciting. I love a good Cinderella story. I hope they can move on to the Stanley Cup. They really took care of business, sweeping the Los Angeles Kings. They're a confident group of players, and it's all about momentum in the playoffs. Even though they've been off for a couple weeks, I can see them, just carrying this momentum. They weren't supposed to be here. They're excited. They're hungry for it, and I think the Golden Knights will be a miracle team we talk for years to come.
I think all of us being Chicago or St. Louis fans, we have another team to root for as the Blackhawks got elevated from the playoffs this year. But it's good to see a feel-good story like Las Vegas Golden Knights making the playoffs. And I think with that, we will now transition to the MLB, where this season's newest sensation is the Angels' own Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is a 23-year-old MLB rookie who comes from Japan and is putting up an impressive stat line, as he is a starting pitcher and is also batting daily in lineups. Guys, is Ohtani just all hype, or is he the real deal? Can he keep this going for the rest of the season? What are you guys' thoughts? Devin?
All right. He's been very impressive to the start of this baseball season, and we haven't seen anything like this in baseball in a long time, where we've got someone who can pitch, and when he's not pitching, he's hitting in the start. He's in the start of that lineup. But man, how quickly people forget how good this guy was. I mean, how bad he was in spring training. The Angels were contemplating starting him in the minor leagues. He went 4 for 32 at the plate in spring training, and then had a 27.00 earned run average. Now he's been able to flip the script at the start of the year. He's hitting .333 right now and is 2-1 with a 3.60 ERA. Now looking at his first 2 wins, though, those come against a very young, inexperienced Oakland Athletics lineup, who obviously are seeing this pitcher for the first time. They don't have a lot of data on him except for what he was doing in Japan. And Japan is a league where the talent really isn't as good as it is in the MLB. MLB has players from all over the world. In Japan, it's just the players that are playing over there. And then we saw him face the Boston Red Sox, a very good lineup, and he got roughed up and left with a blister injury. And now tonight he's facing the Houston Astros. So he's really getting tested here in these next couple starts. Now, if he's going to live up to the hype, that's a big question. A lot of these Japanese pitchers, when they come over, they do live up to the hype at the beginning, but they get figured out after a couple years. I remember the Red Sox when Daisuke Matsuzaka started his career. His first 2 years, he got the Red Sox a World Series. Everyone was super big on him. And then he kind of just faded away. This happens a lot with him. I'd like to see Ohtani keep it up. I think he'll cool down a little. I mean, he's not playing every day in the Angels lineup. So, I mean, he's not getting consistent at-bats. They always give him a day off after a start, or he might not be hitting when he's pitching. So just not getting those consistent at-bats, I think he'll cool off a little hitting. And pitching-wise, I mean, he's facing these bigger offenses now, so it might be tougher for him to keep this up. But I think he'll have a great rookie season, and we'll see if he can do this for the rest of his career. He's very young. A lot of Japanese pitchers come over when they're older, so he's got a lot of time to figure things out and really dominate this league.
Do you think he'll be another rookie sensation like Aaron Judge from last year from the Yankees?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think he'll obviously match the home runs that Judge had. I mean, Judge had an amazing season hitting. I mean, he's just not going to get those at-bats at hitting, but I think being a pitcher and a hitter, he's definitely going to have a sensational rookie season like that.
Chance, what's your take on Shohei Ohtani?
My take's really similar to Devin. I feel like he's really good now. As he said, we see this happen a lot with these young prospects, but as teams, they get this binder figured out on him. They see him more and more. They're going to figure out how he pitches. And on the flip side of that, they're going to figure out the holes in his swing. They're going to eventually figure out how he can bat. And he definitely has the talent. He's a good player. I don't know if he'll keep up this level. And frankly, in my mind, I feel like at some point in time, he'll be better off picking one or the other. And his pitching stats in Japan were always better than his batting stats. I think his best season in Japan, he got like 22 home runs, 67 RBIs, and a 320 average. That's really good, but you have to think, you have to translate that to an MLB stat line. It's going to be less. His pitching, it was, I believe he might have had a sub-2 ERA one year. He's definitely more talented. I think he'd be better off focusing on that and really refining his pitching skills and becoming a dominant pitcher who occasionally comes in and will get a pinch hit home run like, say, an Adam Wainwright or a Madison Bumgarner, something like that.
Okay, and Colton, what's your final take on Shohei
You know,
Ohtani?
there was a lot of hype about him coming into the leagues. A lot of teams wanted him. Then there was people were skeptical about him. In spring training, and you know what? I'm not going to sit here and jump on that bandwagon and say that he's the next Babe Ruth. I don't think so. Devin and Chance, my good colleagues, made some good points to not trust this guy. I wouldn't trust this guy with my wallet. I wouldn't trust anybody with my wallet, in fact. But this guy especially, I don't think he's that good. It's one thing to be a good pitcher, It's one thing to bat and pitch at the same time. You know what? He has surprised me with how well he's done. But like we've said, he's going up against, weak teams like the Oakland A's.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what the Red Sox did with him last week. He got a little blister, took him out of the game. He didn't last. He did not last, okay? So I'm not buying it.
All right, and with that, I think Devin had the most convincing argument, so congratulations, Devin. You got a $10 gift card to Applebee's. Spend it wisely. And with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in this week of this edition of Western Weekly. Stay tuned for more.